Hi there. Welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll be discussing the sinking of the RMS Titanic and its lasting impact on history. The RMS Titanic was the largest and most luxurious ocean liner of its time, hailed as the unsinkable ship. However, on the early morning of April 15, 1912, the Titanic struck an iceberg and sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Over 1,500 passengers and crew lost their lives in the disaster. The sinking of the Titanic was a result of a series of fateful decisions and oversights, including the ship's excessive speed and the lack of sufficient lifeboats. As the ship approached the iceberg, it was too late to avoid a collision, and the impact tore a hole in the ship's hull. Panic ensued as passengers and crew scrambled to board the limited number of lifeboats. Despite the efforts of the crew, the ship's fate was sealed and it eventually broke apart and sunk. The survivors, who were able to make it into the lifeboats, watched in horror as the ship disappeared beneath the waves. In the aftermath of the disaster, the world was left to grapple with the question of how such a tragedy could have happened. An investigation revealed that the Titanic's designers had not adequately considered the risks of icebergs, and that the ship's owners had disregarded safety regulations by not providing enough lifeboats. The sinking of the Titanic was a tragic reminder of the dangers of overconfidence and the importance of preparedness in the face of disaster. In the 100 years since the disaster, the story of the Titanic has captivated the world. The wreckage of the ship was not discovered until 1985, more than 70 years after it sunk. It now rests at a depth of over 12,000 feet on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. The story of the Titanic continues to fascinate people around the world and serves as a reminder of the potential consequences of human arrogance and the need for humility in the face of nature's power. The survivors of the disaster struggled to come to terms with their experiences. Some, like Lawrence Beasley, wrote about their experiences on board the Titanic, while others, like Rose Calvert, chose to keep their memories private. The sinking of the Titanic had a profound impact on maritime regulations and safety practices, leading to improvements in ship design and emergency preparedness. Today, the Titanic is remembered as a tragic reminder of the dangers of hubris and the importance of preparedness. In the aftermath of the disaster, the world was left to grapple with the question of how such a tragedy could have happened. An investigation revealed that the Titanic's designers had not adequately considered the risks of icebergs, and that the ship's owners had disregarded safety regulations by not providing enough lifeboats. The sinking of the Titanic was a tragic reminder of the dangers of overconfidence and the importance of preparedness in the face of disaster. In the 100 years since the disaster, the story of the Titanic has continued to captivate the world. The wreckage of the ship was not discovered until 1985. More than 70 years after it sunk. It now rests at a depth of over 12,000 feet on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. The story of the Titanic continues to fascinate people around the world and serves as a reminder of the potential consequences of human arrogance and the need for humility in the face of nature's power. The disaster also had a significant impact on the field of oceanography. The sinking of the Titanic brought attention to the need for better understanding of the ocean and its dangers, leading to advances in the field. For example, the use of sonar technology was greatly expanded after the disaster in order to more accurately detect underwater obstacles like icebergs. The impact of the disaster was also felt in the world of art and literature. The story of the Titanic has been retold countless times through books, films, and other works of art. These works often explore themes of human hubris, the fragility of life, and the power of nature. The sinking of the Titanic has become a cultural touchstone, and its legacy continues to inspire and intrigue people around the world. The sinking of the Titanic also had significant economic consequences. At the time of its sinking, the Titanic was one of the most expensive ships ever built, with an estimated cost of $7.5 million. The loss of the ship, along with the loss of cargo and passengers, was a significant financial blow to the White Star Line, the company that owned the Titanic. The disaster also had wider economic impacts, as the loss of so many prominent individuals in the disaster resulted in a loss of economic activity and disrupted global trade. One interesting aspect of the Titanic disaster is the role of the ship's musicians. As the ship was sinking, The musicians on board continued to play music in an attempt to calm the passengers and maintain order. According to survivor accounts, The band played a range of songs, including hymns and popular tunes of the time. The band is believed to have played until the very end, as the ship was sinking beneath the waves. Their bravery and dedication in the face of disaster has made them an enduring symbol of the Titanic tragedy. Another interesting aspect of the disaster is the sinking itself. The Titanic was a massive ship, and as it began to sink, it took on a distinctive list to one side. This list made it difficult for passengers to reach the lifeboats on the opposite side of the ship, and may have contributed to the high number of fatalities. The sinking of the Titanic was a slow and gradual process, and it is believed to have taken several hours for the ship to fully submerge. In the years following the disaster, the White Star Line struggled to recover from the financial fallout of the Titanic sinking. The company was eventually absorbed by its rival, the Cunard Line, in 1934. Today, the White Star Line is remembered primarily for its association with the Titanic disaster. The sinking of the Titanic also had significant political consequences. In the aftermath of the disaster, the British government launched an official inquiry into the sinking. The inquiry, which was conducted by the British Board of Trade, lasted for over 2 months and heard testimony from a range of witnesses, including survivors and experts. The inquiry ultimately concluded that the sinking was due to a combination of factors, including the excessive speed of the ship, the lack of sufficient lifeboats, and the failure to properly respond to the danger of icebergs. Overall, the sinking of the Titanic remains one of the most well-known disasters in history. Its impact was felt across a wide range of fields, from maritime regulations to art and literature. It serves as a reminder of the potential consequences of human arrogance and the need for humility in the face of nature's power. The story of the Titanic will continue to captivate and inspire for generations to come. Thank you for watching our video on the sinking of the RMS Titanic. We hope you found it interesting and informative. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more historical content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.